Have you ever met someone who changed your life forever, yet came from a place you would never expect? What if the one you looked down on one day was the one who would save your life? This is not just another tale about the rich and poor. It's about two worlds, one drowning in loneliness behind marble walls, and the other struggling under the sun for a single meal. And between those two worlds stood destiny, waiting to prove that kindness can break every barrier. This is the story of Kunnal, the barefoot village boy with a heart of gold, and Toby, the billionaire's only son, who had everything money could buy except love. No one, not even their families, imagined that one moment between them would change everything. What started as an innocent friendship would end in a night of fire, tears, and shocking revelations. But wait, what if a poor boy could change a rich man's destiny? Would you believe it? Let's find out. The afternoon sun baked the dusty streets of Lagos Mainland. Vendors shouted over the roaring Danfo buses. The smell of roasted corn and engine smoke filled the air. Children in torn shirts ran barefoot, laughing and chasing old tires. Among them was Kunnal, a thin boy of 13, dark-skinned and bright-eyed. He wove through the crowd, balancing a small basket of groundnuts on his head, calling out in a cheerful voice, "Groundnut, sweet like honey, come and buy, oh." His shirt was faded and torn at the shoulder, his shorts patched 3 times, yet his smile, that wide, honest smile, was worth more than gold. Every evening after hawking, Kunnal sat beneath an old mango tree by the roadside. There, with his little notebook, its cover already brown and worn, he traced letters with his finger, whispering softly to himself. He wanted to become a teacher one day. Though he had never stepped into a real classroom, his dreams were larger than the city lights beyond the bridge. His grandmother, Mama Iridi, often watched him from their tiny wooden shed nearby. Her back was bent from years of selling vegetables, but her voice still carried wisdom. "Kunnal," she would say, "don't let poverty live inside your heart. It can live in your pocket, but not in your heart." And Kunnal would smile. "Yes, Mama. One day, I'll teach children how to read, even the ones who can't afford school." Mama Iridi would nod, looking at him like a prayer she hoped heaven would answer. But deep down, she knew how cruel life could be. Hope, she often said, was the only thing the poor could afford for free. Across the bridge, on the polished streets of Ikoyi, another story was being written. Inside a vast white mansion with golden gates and glass chandeliers lived Chief Adeyemi, a man whose name opened doors and whose wealth silenced arguments. He owned oil companies, estates, and cars that sparkled like diamonds under the sun. But his home, for all its beauty, was hollow. His wife, Madame Yajaid, was elegant, sharp, and distant. She spent most of her time in London on business, and even when she was home, her perfume filled the house more than her laughter. Their only son, Toby, was 11, tall for his age, always in neatly pressed designer shirts and polished Italian shoes. Yet behind those expensive things hid a quiet sadness. His father was always busy. His mother was always away. And though he had everything, he had no one. Every morning, private tutors came and left. Every evening, he sat by his window, watching children playing in the streets below, wishing he could just be one of them. Do you know that kind of loneliness money can't cure? The kind that hides behind a smile in every family picture? That was Toby's world. It happened on a hot Saturday afternoon. Toby's driver had stopped at a crowded roadside to buy suya. Toby waited inside the black Range Rover, his face pressed against the window, watching life on the other side of the glass. Then he saw him, Kunnal, barefoot, laughing, surrounded by younger children as he taught them to play Ao Alapon, his laughter echoing like music through the street. Something in that moment caught Toby's heart. He had never seen such joy that asked for nothing. Without thinking, he stepped out of the car. The air was hot and heavy, the ground rough beneath his polished shoes. He walked up to Kunnal. "Hey," Toby said softly, "can I play too?" All the children stopped. Their eyes widened. A rich boy, in their game. Kunnal looked at him, then smiled. "Of course, sit here. I'll teach you." They played until the shadows grew long and the sun began to fall. For the first time, Toby laughed. Truly laughed. When the driver finally called him, Toby pulled out one of his toy cars. "Here, you can have it," he said. Cunnel shook his head gently. "No need. Just come again tomorrow. Let's play AO." And that was how a friendship began. A friendship that would defy class, pride, and even destiny itself. Every weekend, Toby found excuses to leave home. He would dress simply, hide his phone in his pocket, and walk the dusty street until he reached the mango tree. Cunnel always waited there, barefoot as usual, his laughter ringing through the air. He taught Toby how to roast corn, how to balance a tray on his head, and even how to call customers in Yoruba. "Come and buy groundnuts. Sweet like honey, I swear." Toby would laugh until his sides hurt. He felt alive in ways he had never known before. In return, Toby brought some of his school books. He showed Cunnel how to pronounce big English words and write neatly. Together, they built a small wooden blackboard under the mango tree, where Cunnel practiced writing his name over and over. "Cunnel Ade," he paused. "I don't even know my full name," he said sadly. Toby looked up from the book. "Then make one up," he said with a grin. "Call yourself Cunnel the Great." Cunnel laughed. "One day, I'll be great, I promise. I'll build a school where rich and poor can learn together." Toby smiled. "And I'll help you build it." They didn't know the world was already watching and waiting to tear them apart. One quiet evening, the sound of sirens filled the street. A black convoy of luxury SUVs rolled past, their tinted windows glinting under the sun. The children paused their play, except Cunnel and Toby, who were too lost in laughter under the mango tree. Then a car door slammed. A deep, commanding voice shouted, "Toby!" It was Chief Adeyemi. He stormed toward them, eyes blazing. "Toby, what are you doing here?" Toby froze, his face pale. Cunnel stepped back, frightened. "This boy?" the chief thundered, pointing at Cunnel. "This street rat? Is this who you spend your time with?" Toby's voice trembled. "Father, he's my friend." Chief Adeyemi's voice cut like thunder. "Friend, you're a disgrace to my name." He grabbed Toby by the wrist, yanking him toward the car while his driver watches. Cunnel stood there, tears burning his eyes as the convoy roared away, leaving only dust and silence behind. That night, Cunnel sat beside his grandmother. "Maybe rich people can never be friends with us," he whispered. "Mama," I really sighed deeply. "My son, don't say that. Destiny doesn't care about money. One day, your goodness will speak for you." And her words, like a prophecy, would come true sooner than anyone imagined. 2 weeks later, the sky over Ikoyi turned dark and heavy with rain. Thunder rumbled across the rooftops. Inside Chief Adeyemi's mansion, the lights suddenly flickered, then went out. Moments later, a loud explosion shattered the silence. Fire erupted from the generator house, spreading fast through the compound. Smoke filled the air. Servants screamed and ran in every direction. "Toby! Where is Toby?" Chief Adeyemi shouted, panic in his voice. But Toby was upstairs, trapped behind a door blocked by fallen debris. He pounded on it, coughing as thick smoke filled his room. No one dared to enter the burning house. Then, out of nowhere, a small figure pushed through the crowd and ran straight into the flames. It was Cunnel. He had come earlier that evening, hoping to see Toby again, and now he was risking his life to save him. People shouted, "Stop that boy!" But Cunnel didn't stop. He covered his face with a wet cloth and dashed through the fire. "Toby! Toby! Where are you?" From above, a weak voice answered, "Here!" Cunnel climbed the burning staircase, found Toby, and wrapped a cloth around him. Step by step, coughing, trembling, he dragged him through the fire until at last, they burst into the open air. The crowd gasped. Rain poured down, washing soot from their faces. Chief Adeyemi rushed forward, kneeling beside them. Who did this?" Toby coughed weakly. "Father, it was Cunnel. He saved me." The billionaire looked at the boy, the same street rat he once despised, and tears rolled down his face. Chief Adeyemi fell to his knees before Kunal. The crowd watched in silence as the mighty man bowed to the poor boy. "Forgive me, my son," he said, his voice breaking. "You saved my life by saving him." From that day, everything changed. Kunal and Mama Iridi were moved into a beautiful new home. Chief Adeyemi paid for Kunal's education and enrolled him in the same elite school as Toby. The two boys were inseparable again, this time without secrets. Every Sunday, Chief Adeyemi would tell his guests, "This boy is proof that greatness has no class. A pure heart is more valuable than gold." Years passed. Kunal grew taller, smarter, and more confident. His grandmother was proud, though her health began to fade. One evening, as the sunset painted the sky orange, Mama Iridi called him to her bedside. Her breathing was weak, her eyes tired. "My son," she whispered, "there's something I must tell you before I go." Kunal leaned close, fear in his eyes. "What is it, Mama?" Tears rolled down her wrinkled face. "Your father was not poor. He was Chief Adeyemi's brother." Kunal froze. The words felt like thunder in his ears. "What?" he whispered. Mama Iridi nodded slowly. "You are blood to the man who took you in." Before Kunal could speak again, her eyes closed softly. Her hand went still in his. Kunal sat there, shaking, his heart breaking, and a storm of questions filling his mind. Could it be true? Was he the lost heir the billionaire never knew he had? The poor boy who saved a billionaire's son was actually his own blood. But what would happen when the truth came out? Would Chief Adeyemi accept him or deny him again? And what secret was buried in their family's past that Mama Iridi took to her grave? The answers are yet to come. What lesson did you learn from Kunal and Toby's story? Drop and share your thoughts with me below, and the best comment gets featured in our next upload. Subscribe, like and share this video. Watch for the next episode.